Good morning, third graders. Today I'm going to read to you a story about how to be cool in the third grade. Some of you, we started reading this a few days ago, but we're going to start over again because sometimes we have to reread something to make sure that we're understanding it. So we're going to start paying attention to the different kinds of things we can do as a reader. And one of those things to make our life as a reader to be successful is to look up the book before we read it. So I'm going to be thinking about what I'm seeing and what this might help me to do as a reader. How to be cool in the third grade. Then I see this little part over here. It says, some people are born cool, others have to work at it. I see a picture of a boy in the story. And I'm going to check out the author. The author's name is Janet Wilson. But I'm not going to stop there. Before I read, I'm going to turn the book over. Do you remember that? Who can tell me what they think this is called? That's right. I heard someone say a blurb. And it asks the question, what is cool in the third grade? So I'm going to be thinking about that because it's in the title. It's on the back blurb. And I'm going to read it so I can kind of get my brain going and kind of thinking and activate my thinking about what this book might be mostly about. It's not easy to seem cool when the whole class knows you wear superhero underwear. Ooh boy. And your mom still kisses you goodbye at the bus stop. But Robbie York has a plan. Oh, okay. The blurb is already telling me the character's name, Robbie York, has a plan. 1, get rid of the name Robbie. 2, get jeans. 3, avoid bullies like Bo Hanley. If only it were that simple. So already my brain has been activated to be thinking about all these different parts. I know the character. I know he's trying to be cool. And I know he has a strategy, 3 plans. So as I'm reading this to you, let's see if you can pay attention and see if you can find these details that match his idea of what it is to be cool. This is going to help you when you want to summarize what you're doing. I'm going to look inside too because there is a table of contents. And it has lots of chapters. So I know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 chapters in this book. And so I'm going to have to read long and strong when I'm reading this and remember what the title is of each chapter and how that helps me to read the next part. Are you ready? Sit back and listen. I hope you're in a quiet spot, ready to listen and learn. Oh, I see a picture here that's already going to help me. I see Robbie, because I know that from the blurb, and I see he's covering part of his backpack. And he's looking at it with a smile. What is cool in the third grade? Robbie York punched his pillow and turned it over. He leaned back and closed his eyes, but he could not get to sleep. The question floated around in his head. It was a question that he had to answer before morning. He flipped his pillow over and punched it again. Tomorrow was the first day of school. Tomorrow he would start third grade. Something about the first day of new school year makes everything seem bright and wonderful. New clothes, new shoes, long, sharp pencils with unchewed erasers, sheets of fresh blank notebook paper. I'm going to stop there and think about what did I already learn about the character. Oh, I learned his name was Robbie. I know he's nervous because he's moving around and having trouble sleeping, but he's also excited because it's the first day of school. I also know another detail that I know is that he's getting all of his materials ready. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep that in my mind. Robbie thought of the new year as a chalkboard, white, clean and black, waiting for him to write on it. This year, anything was possible. Anything was possible, that is, if he knew the answer to the question, what is cool in the third grade? Oh, by reading on the blurb, I already have an idea of how he's going to answer that question. So that's going to be in my mind as I read on to see if I can find those details that match the blurb. If only he knew the answer, then this year, everything would be perfect. Okay, I want you to stop and think. Have you ever had a feeling like that? Where if you knew the answer to a big question, that it might change everything? I have. Brain match. He sat up. It was useless even trying to get to sleep. He flicked on the light beside his bed. At the foot of his bed he could see things laid out for school. His clothes, his shoes, his new backpack. He frowned. The backpack was dark blue and said Robbie on the back in big white letters. I'm going to stop there because I got some new information. He frowned. What does that word mean? He frowned. Before he was so excited, but now I know the word frown means kind of to be sad or upset. So I'm going to stop, keep that in my thinking, and move on and see what details I can find to match that. His mother had ordered it from a catalog. Robbie had been afraid that she would get him one with a Smurf or a Muppet baby on it. It was a nice plain blue one, but he reached down and picked it up. He looked at the letters on it. Robbie! He sighed. Oh, look at that word, sighed. That word keeps showing up in a lot of the books and stories we've been reading. That's really an important word to learn because it's a kind of way that we show when we're frustrated. Can everyone kind of sigh? That was one thing he knew was not cool. A third grader should not have a baby name. He did not know a single grown-up named Robbie. Oh, so this, I'm going to stop and think, because now we know that he's a little upset with the name Robbie. Maybe that makes sense about why he was covering part of it on his backpack. Robert Hayes York. His real name was great. Couldn't he have just as easily been called Robert or Rob? He held his fingers over the last three letters. Rob. That looks so much better. He buried his nose in the stiff canvas and smelled the newness of the material. He unzipped it and pulled out a new spiral notebook. He opened it. The pages were clean and white. What is cool in the third grade? He needed a plan. A plan to become cool. Robbie, Robbie, his mother called from downstairs. Robbie. That was it. He knew what the first step to becoming cool would be. Oh, look at how the author put these ... That's telling me that he's coming up with a plan, and we see that. We're going to think about what we read in the blurb and what he might be doing. Do you think something to do with his name? I'm thinking so too. Get rid of the name Robbie. Lights out now. School tomorrow. Okay, Mom. He took out a pencil. He didn't have much time. He didn't know the entire answer to his question, but he knew part of it. He had to have a plan. He would make a list. Quickly he wrote, how to be cool in the third grade. Then without stopping, he wrote, get rid of the name Robbie. Oh, so we were kind of seeing that all of his actions were showing us that he was covering his name, he was coming up with a plan, he was talking about liking his real name, but not Robbie. How about you? Do you think your name is cool? Think about that and think about why you think it is cool or why you might not think it's cool. And see if you can come up with a plan like he did. He smiled. Seeing his first step to becoming cool gave him a feeling of power. He felt that by writing it down, he had accomplished it. Robbie closed his notebook and put it into his backpack. He turned off his lamp and lay back in bed. He didn't feel so restless now. He was one step closer to being cool. It was going to be a great year. So I'm going to stop there because that's the end of the chapter, and I'm going to think about the title of that chapter, and it was called Becoming Cool. Oh, do we think that all the details that we read in here were about Robbie coming up with a plan to be cool? So what do we think the first chapter was mostly about? Can you summarize it? Did you say something like he wants to be cool and what the first thing he has on his plan is to change his name? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Now I'm going to pay attention to the second chapter. This one is called Get Jeans. We know the first one about being cool was about changing his name. Now this one, we're going to add another detail. We're going to learn about what does Get Jeans mean for Robbie. Robbie, Robbie, time to get up. Robbie pulled his blanket up around his shoulders and started to turn over. Robbie, school today, school. It all came back to him. Today was the first day of third grade. In one motion, Robbie was on his feet. This morning he was charged with a new energy. This was the year that he would be cool. He looked at the foot of his bed where his things were laid out. His backpack was still there. We know he's still on the same idea about being cool. Have we read anything about the jeans yet? No, so we have to keep reading. It was full. He and his best friend Doug had spent long time yesterday carefully making out lists of supplies that they would need for third grade. Robbie's mother had taken the list to the Harkins department store and had bought all his supplies for him. He had put the things into the backpack for him. Excuse me, I'm going to reread that because it didn't make sense. She had put the things into the backpack for him. Now Robbie picked up the backpack. He felt like he had better check everything himself. He unzipped the zipper and emptied it out. One by one, he began to check off everything on the list. Pencil box, check. Glue stick, check. Crayons, check. Spiral notebook, check. Number 2 pencils, check. Ruler. Oh, no. Why do you think the character is reacting? Why do you think Robbie is saying, oh, no, about the ruler? Stop and think. Okay, let's read on and see if we can find out more information about the ruler. And think about what Robbie wants to be. What does he want to be? I hope I heard you say cool. He dropped the ruler as if it had burned him. A pretty pony ruler? His mother had bought him a pretty pony ruler. What are you thinking about being cool in third grade and having a pretty pony ruler? Yeah, I don't think so. He definitely could not show up at school with a pretty pony ruler. Third graders do not have designs on their rulers, and third grade boys do not have pretty pony on anything. His mother just didn't understand some things. He took the pretty pony ruler and stuck it under his mattress. It would be better to show up without a ruler. He leaned back and took a deep breath. How close he had come to being uncool on the first day. Robbie, are you getting dressed? Besides the backpack were his clothes. Shorts, shirt, socks, and shoes, but different from the shorts. T-shirt, socks, and shoes that he had worn yesterday. These were his school clothes. His parents always said that school clothes should be different from play clothes. What do you think? I know a lot of you were wearing your uniform, especially even when we come to class on remote. Robbie picked up the shorts and frowned. Oh, look, there's that word frowned again. Wow, we saw sighed and frowned. Those words are really giving us clues about how the character is feeling. I like those words. They were tan and stiff and had a red belt. What do you think about that detail and his clothes? Do you think that's going to make him cool at school? Remember what the title was, Jeans. What do you think? The white socks were really white. Look at him. Look at his frown. And did not have a colored stripes at the top like his play socks. The shoes were brown leather lace-ups, and the shirt had a collar. That was another one of his parents' rules. No shirts without collars allowed at school. Wow. So the author is really making it loud so we can really see that he's thinking, that the character is thinking that this is not cool. His parents had a lot of rules. He put the shorts on. They felt scratchy. He would have to do something about his clothes. They were not cool. He wished that someone would tell his mother and his father that third grade boys wear t-shirts with no collars to school and jeans. Oh, does that match our title? What are we thinking about this chapter? What does Robbie think you need to be cool? This is a detail that supports the title of the chapter. And when we're summarizing, we can be thinking about it, just like in the blurb. I'm going to read on. He was the only boy in Danville School who did not own a pair of jeans. He began to load all the school supplies into his backpack, but when he got to the spiral notebook, he stopped. He remembered his list. He had just thought of his second step to becoming cool. He opened the notebook and wrote, 2. Get jeans. Robbie, Robbie, his mother called from downstairs. Breakfast. In 5 minutes. You don't want to miss the bus, do you? No, he didn't want to miss the bus. Doug would be saving him a seat. He began to hurry. He closed his notebook and put it into his backpack. He zipped it shut and swung it onto his shoulder. He smiled as he headed downstairs to breakfast. Yes, it was going to be a great year. All right, so let's stop and think. We've read 2 chapters. In the first chapter, we know that Robbie's coming up with a plan to be cool in the 3rd grade. We know that one of the things he wants to do is to change his name from Robbie to Rob. That was number 1 that he put in his notebook. In chapter 2, in the jeans, he wants to change the clothes. He wants to get a pair of jeans. So he's thinking if he gets a pair of jeans, that's going to make him cool too. So do you think that the author has been giving us a lot of evidence about how Robbie is reacting to the things that he's seeing at home and how he's making a plan for himself so that ultimately he will feel cool in the third grade. So when we're going to read some other chapters tomorrow, and we're going to be thinking about what else we can add on to what we already know about Robbie, the character, and how he's feeling, and how his feelings make him act a certain way. I hope you had a nice time, found a quiet spot to read, and sat back and thought long and strong about what we were hearing and what you were seeing, and I hope you read along with me. Have a great learning and reading day. Bye.